Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. We are back from a long hiatus. I just needed a moment to myself. And I mean, you good over there?
Yeah.
As y'all can see, if you are watching, we have two very, very special guests. They are not strangers to Whiskey Sour. Welcome back to the show. My lovely favorite big sister, Janelle, and my very, very best friend, that might be my cousin, Vernon. Hi, guys. How are you?
Hello, hello.
I
Yeah,
I
like
love
my
the
cousin.
every time. I love you just you call me by my name instead of my screen name, but it's fine. I put it there for a reason. But
I
I love it.
it's very hard for me. I'm aware.
Well, do y'all have a conversation about like real names versus screen names?
We have it.
We
Okay.
have
Nah.
before. I just don't make it a big deal.
Okay.
Well, listen, I'm sorry, VP the Gemini. That is what I'll be calling you. Full name. That is your stage name, okay? I like first and last names. Janelle will tell you this. Uh,
Okay.
because that's just how I am. I don't know why I do that, but it's just a thing and I like it. So burning the Gemini. Well, shit, I fucked it up again. Y'all, hi.
It's
How
fine. We on whiskey sour, so whatever you want it to be.
y'all? Okay. How y'all doing? How was y'all weekend?
Pretty eventful. So, um, yeah, Friday night went out, Saturday night went out, Sunday went out, but I was in. So yeah, can't
I had a
complain.
chill weekend. Hung out with a friend Friday into Saturday, and that was pretty much it until the Grammys.
A
Okay.
friend always seems like it's not a friend.
It's a friend.
Okay.
See, no, 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 no. See, Vernon, listen. There's a difference in how we say friend, how you say friend. Because when you say friend, there's a little sarcasm behind it, a tone, especially depending on who the person is. So
Well,
it's a little harder to decipher if it is.
I have levels to my friends. See, I'm not one of the people say best friend all the time or like associate. I just kind of call everybody a friend. Obviously, I have a best friend, so everybody doesn't get that. But it's levels to the friends. I just kind of say a friend, and so it's kind of left up to you all
So
to
it
figure out what kind of friend.
is.
Okay.
So it's a
What is this dry erase board?
I'm in class. I'm
Look,
back in the
it's
classroom.
me and then everybody else. That's the
Oh,
total
Right,
problem.
you and then everybody else down there.
Daryl got me this dry erase board because I was drawing on this wall right here on the door. I wasn't physically drawing, but I was air drawing like diagrams and all of this stuff. So he was like, he's like, oh, check your mail. Open the door. It's a dry erase board at my door.
well,
So
that's cute.
yeah,
Good, good one, Daryl. That's a good one.
yeah. Shout out to Daryl. Just a great
I'm
person.
really struggling with this hair. It just really seemed
Oh
like
my god.
I got shocked, like, right?
It don't look like that now. Moving on, before we get
Okay.
into today's topic, I do want to, outside of your weekend, check in on how everybody feeling. It is February 3rd. We have now entered the Chinese New Year. That's gonna be my New Year. So I feel like today, New Year, new me. So how y'all feeling?
I'm here.
Yeah, here still surviving. I actually do feel like a lot of people have joked and said they feel like February is the start of the new year, January is like a trial run. And it does feel like that a lot of times. Usually the year comes in, you have all these great expectations for a new year. But it seems like January always starts off with the mess, with the drama, with the craziness. And February just feels a little bit more like okay, we can breathe a little bit. It's a little lighter. It's Black History Month. It's a time to really get into the celebration and things and really kind of get into the year. And so, yeah, I feel like February is a good way to kind of start things off and let January finally go because we felt all 31 days. So,
Oh, hello.
Baby.
Yeah. So
Like,
Listen,
I think it was an extra 10 days in there. I don't know where
right?
they happened, but it was
Yeah.
definitely there. Because
Like
I'm
I
just
don't know if
like,
it was
we
a
still
leap
here.
year or something. Yeah.
no, it was definitely January was given, in the words of the great, well, former great Kanye West. It was I'm surviving.
I was drinking earlier. Now I'm driving.
Yeah,
Right.
that is the what January was. So it's funny because I'm seeing all these different posts about what happened as we transition into today's topic about the Grammys, and I was talking to Dominique Parrish. Everybody
Mm.
follow Dom in the City. She is
Hey
your
Dom.
food vlogger that is going to give you all the top hot spots, where to go, where not to go in New York City. And we were talking about it, and she was like, "Yeah, after this win from Beyonce, today feels lighter. The week feels lighter already." So I'm like, "You're right. You're right." But
Yeah.
Aquarius season tends to do that to people in general. Yeah, I'm going to take a little bit of the credit for that. But this isn't about, everyone needing an Aquarius. This is about Beyonce, who won several awards last night, including the great album of the year, finally. And let's just get into it. How we feeling about Beyonce? Because she also won. She's the first Black woman to win Best Country Album, and she also took home a Grammy for Best Country Duo with Two Most Wanted with Miley Cyrus. How
With
y'all?
who?
Miley Cyrus. What did I say?
It was just an extra twang on it, Miley Cyrus.
It was fitting. It was very fitting.
Right. I'm like, I'm not mad at it, but it's still funny.
Well, Miley Cyrus, if you will. So, guys, let's talk about it. It's a very iconic moment, and I just want to note too that she was the first. She's been the first Black woman since Lauryn Hill. So it's been 26 or 27 years that a Black woman has won Album of the Year.
And
Yeah.
actually, go ahead, Janelle.
No, I really never even thought about it because it was kind of a shock because you don't really think about the Grammys as far as, at least I don't. But when you think about like these historic wins, because it's not like, I feel as though usually the Oscars.
Yes, you're here. I made you.
Oh, okay. I wasn't used to it getting big. Usually the Oscars are really good at saying, well, that's a lie. I think they'll say like this is the first time this person has been nominated. So I feel like I don't really like, I'm not the greatest when it comes to music. So I don't really follow who gets what. I feel like I only know that Beyonce never gets album of the year because they tell us that she don't ever get album of the year. If they never said it, I probably would never know. So, but I think, yeah, I think a lot of history was made. And I don't want to, I mean, and the Grammys is always during Black History Month. So it just so happens that, depending on who gets nominated, win. But I think, a lot of history was made, which is great. I wish it was more celebrated during the moment. Kind of similar to how when Trevor Noah had announced that she had the most Grammys of all time, like in that moment, I think would have been kind of like the cherry on top had they mentioned, like her being like the first Black woman to win Country Album of the Year, the first since, like you said, Lauryn Hill to win Album of the Year, just to give people kind of like some perspective in the moment, um, particularly the people in the room. I think obviously, you have a lot of Beehive, stands, so they know. But I think just kind of like hearing it out loud in that moment would have made it even more impactful. So, and shout out to Miley Cyrus for even like calling out that they won that award. Um, because it wasn't televised. So unless you were kind of like following, because I wouldn't have known had it not been on for social media. But I just love that most people, the people in the front, seem to really be rooting for her. I think when she got record of the year, um, wait, was it record? No, that was country album. Country album. Um, I feel like she was genuinely shocked because at first, when she was sitting down, I'm thinking to myself, "Oh, obviously she's about to win because they're making sure she's positioned. Like she got there just in time. It's like, okay, let me hurry up and get here because I'm about to win this award." But her facial expression, it was just given like, "Oh, I'm just trying to, get myself together, get settled." And all of a sudden, they call my name, and I'm just like, "Wait, what?" So I thought that was a very cute, authentic moment for Beyonce. So
Bernie.
You know what? I agree with the fact that more things should be kind of televised or kind of announced. Because yeah, if you're not following along with the Grammys or if you're not following along with your fave, you probably don't know those certain details. Like if Miley Cyrus hadn't been presenting that night, we probably would not have known that they won their award together, which was well deserved, by the way. I think when when Country Carter first came out,
Cowboy
that
Carter.
song. You know what? I sound like Mama Tina. I was trying to make sure I was trying to make sure I said the right thing, but now I sound like her saying Country Carter, Cowboy Carter. Thank you. When it first was released, that song that they had together, Beyonce and Miley Cyrus, it was very well received. So I'm not even surprised that they won Best Collabo together. Um, but yeah, it's crazy that in 2025 we're still saying things like first black or first black woman or anything in however many years. And actually, when it comes to, I think the country album, I think I saw somewhere that the Pointer Sisters were actually on a song or somewhere like years and years ago. But anyway, overall, to give Beyonce finally album of the year is, I mean, it's the award that we've all kind of been looking forward to, and we didn't think it was we weren't sure if it was going to happen, how it was going to happen. You would think it probably would have happened last year when she, became the most awarded Grammy winner ever and got all the other awards. But it's almost like, I mean, we have other awards to look forward to in other years because I mean it's Beyonce. Like we just kind of know that she's going to be getting more Grammys. I'm surprised to see what Act Three will give us. And shoot, not really looking forward to this moment, but if, Lord is willing, if Beyonce decides to put a last album out, how that will be received. So, I'm just here for all the things. I'm here for all the awards. I'm just here to see her keep winning. I mean, and some people thought that she was pretending to be surprised. I think she was genuinely surprised. Mind you, she had just gotten there. She wasn't there and sitting when the award shows just started. Trevor Noah said that he said she was on her way. So it's like she literally sat down
hmm
and then they said country album, and I think that was the one that she actually wasn't expecting because she had received so much hate, backlash. She wasn't really country, So to get that one, I think if we had gotten that, but not album of the year, it would have still been a really big deal. But to get that and album of the year, I mean, it just made the night just even more great. So.
I think the interesting thing about the night in general is how many people they consistently told us it was 13,000 people that are a part of the the academy that
And
are
I and
voting.
I and I think that was
I
and it was obviously on purpose, but I think because of particularly Jay-Z's comments last year, I
Mhm.
think they really wanted people to know, like, we hear you, and which is why that they had old boy come out, who is, I guess, the head of the Grammys,
yeah,
for the past few years.
yeah.
I think they really wanted to really drive home that we are taking initiative and we are listening because it don't make sense. Like he said, he's like, by your own metrics, that don't work out. Like, how are you the most decorated artist for your award, and yet she has never gotten the highest award? And then the fact that people had been quoted to saying well, she got enough.
Yeah.
So we just not gonna give it to her. Not that she don't deserve it, but it's like, oh well, she has so many, like, why does it even matter?
And
She
to
should be
be
happy
her
with
as
what
the
she has. You know what I mean? Like, so I think them making that big statement, I think they really wanted you to know, like, yo, it's not the same group of people who's been voting. So it is gonna be a little bit more inclusive. I'm still sure that it's still predominantly, white males. But I think it's definitely an opportunity for a lot of other new artists or artists in general to get the shine that they deserve. Because honestly, I mean, I feel like, because again, like you said, I really wasn't expecting her to win either one. Like low key, I really wasn't expecting her to win either one. Just because I feel like she did have some stiff competition. Like I would have been okay if old boy won. Shabuzi. Is it Shabuzi? Is that how you say it?
Hmm.
yes.
Okay. I don't look.
I mean, technically, he did win along with Tanner Adele, Brittany Spencer, Tierra
Okay. We ain't
Kennedy.
talking about none of that.
Yes, but I'm just saying. But just several other people because they vicariously run because they were featured on the album. So he did win. But
Yeah, but
his
as far as like his own album is
yes.
concerned, I feel like I was surprised. Chapel Roan, she seemed to have a really strong chance of winning. Her speech was wild, which I wasn't mad at it at all. So yeah, I just felt like she really did kind of have like some stiff competition for real. Which I mean, I feel like she always does. But it's just like it's just and maybe we are biased because we are in the hive, so to speak. So we feel like she deserved all of the things. Not to say that she doesn't, but it's just like it just seemed very much we are trying not to give her this award for
I
all of these years.
Yeah, I think for this year was probably the most probably outside of that year with Adele. This has been the most stiff competition. The other years, it's been very lackluster. It's like, what are these projects? Moby again.
Yeah, and it's like 'cause they'll give you all the other awards, and because I feel like it was one year maybe she won like 3 awards or 4 awards, and it's like, but we're not gonna give you this one. So it's like every song on your album deserves its own award, but as a collective, we're not gonna give it to you. That's just like saying in the Oscars, we're gonna give everybody. You're gonna give you best director, best actor, best actress, best supporting cast, like all of the things. But when it comes down to best movie, you didn't win that. But it's like, but all the parts were the best. So how didn't it make up
Yeah,
the
and
best?
even I believe, if I'm not mistaken, for Lemonade, all those songs charted at
Hmm.
some point throughout that year. But also, Beyonce, this is just a full circle moment, actually submitted Daddy Lesson to be, entered into the best country song or whatever for that year, and
Hmm.
they denied it. So you're denied, it's just delayed. You're not denied, you delayed. And everything is about timing too. So she kept doing, put it in the work and do what she wanted to do. And ultimately she receive the recognition. And I think for us, a lot of people, people are calling out the CMT and the CMAs and all that stuff to do right. They Let's just say what it is. They're never gonna do right because they white. Do they ever do right?
Well, the thing is too, like the time she performed and the Dixie Chicks performed with her.
Mm-hmm.
Um, for Daddy lessons at the CMAs, they scrubbed her from their social media.
Yeah.
Like it was wild to me because the only time I even watched the CMAs was for Beyonce.
Yeah.
And I used to watch that performance over and over again. And I used to, because it was fire. And I love the Dixie Chicks. So it just was like, I don't know. And then, like, when they were paying to the audience, you would have like a handful who was feeling it. I feel like Matthew McConaughey was getting his life. He
Baby.
was like, this is my jam. but you would have other people who would be just like stoic. And it's just like, how much
what is she
more do
doing
you
here?
want? And
Yeah.
even today, it's just like, y'all keep saying, and that's why it's even more fitting that she won Best Country Album and Album of the Year, because y'all are so determined to say that this woman ain't country. Now, when her ass was just doing, R&B, which is barely even R&B, is more on the pop side. Like, let's be real, Beyonce in general, Destiny's Child. But y'all was saying how you too country, to the point where she stopped giving interviews. Like, y'all don't want to hear her country ass speak. And now it's like this girl who grew up in fucking Houston going to the rodeo. Like, when you look at Destiny's Child, a lot of their early costuming, all of that shit was cowboy country. We ain't even gonna talk about the origins of the word cowboy and where that even comes from. Again, black, but whatever.
Yeah, because we call cowboys were called cow hens.
So it's just like, y'all keep trying to co-opt our culture and then get mad when we want to reclaim it. And it's like, stop. And again, she even said, like, this ain't a country album, this is a Beyonce album. Like, she had a mix of everything in it, which again, and Kanye has even said this in the past before he, back when his rants were rants with a purpose, rants for a reason. How they always want to pigeonhole artists into one thing. Like, you can only do this one thing. You can't be good at all these other creative works. It beyond just music. But it's like, if you're an artist, most artists can live in different creative spaces.
And I just want to cut you off and reference Beyonce's speech. She said, I think sometimes genre is a code word to keep us in our place as artists, Beyonce said in her acceptance speech. And I just want to encourage people to do what they're passionate about.
And I agree. And I feel like it's to keep, I can't even say it's to keep certain artists, because I think in general, because it depends on who it is and how much they like you. But also, I remember when Garth Brooks tried to have that alter ego, it was not well received.
Okay, no, Janelle, that was different. That was like when AJ from the Backstreet Boys should have just did R&B and was trying to be Johnny No Name. Nobody was fucking with that, because it was like it just was weird. Okay, it was weird. I was even like, Garth, what the fuck is this?
What's so funny that you say that, because I remember, and I know we talking about Beyonce, but we about to hit a different beat, the Backstreet Boys. I remember being in line to go get Backstreet Boy tickets and standing there and seeing the poster for, I think it was Chris Gaines. That was his like alter ego. And I'm just sitting there like,
oh yes, Garth, yes.
I'm like, but ain't that Garth Brooks though? Like, I was so confused, because I'm like, I am missing something. And this is pre-smartphone. Like, if a cell phone was had, it was definitely that Nokia that people would get with a penny with their phone plan. And it was no way for me to fact check, because I was like, I'm so confused. So let me make a mental note of this, because I don't know what I'm seeing right now. So I feel like there's not, unless you were an artist that has come out, like a Nicki Minaj, for instance. Like, Nicki,
oh girl, hold on, I'm sorry. They're saying that Garth Brooks wants to revive this. I
wouldn't be surprised.
I'm sorry, like,
but unless you're like a Nicki Minaj, like Nicki, we know she could flow in and out of rapping and singing. You know what I mean? She does both well. I think she lives better in like the rap world, but when she come out with a song where she's singing on, nobody seems to be mad about it. So I think, a few artists, but also the genre is not a big jump, like rap to R&B versus being in this like realm of gatekeeper, so to speak, that's like the country. And even with country people, they don't even accept all they country folks. Like, they don't like Shania Twain. Like, they feel like it's a certain recipe for country music. And I remember it's a show on Netflix called Explained. Y'all should watch it. It's fire. It's like a
I like
docu-series.
that show.
Yes.
And they did a whole deep dive into country music. Why? Because white folks was pissed with Lil Nas X
Mm,
doing, Old Town Road. And so it was just
mm.
this whole deep dive into like what is considered country, all these different sets of country music and who they accept in those and who they don't. It's a lot of shit they don't let women like be a part of. So it's like, yes, it's a Beyonce thing and a race thing, but more and more it's like they want to uphold this
That's what
illusion
I'm
of whiteness
Yeah.
that they feel like this is ours and it just isn't.
Yeah.
I
Um,
never heard about that Garth Brooks thing. I don't know what y'all talking about.
running. I'm
That's some
gonna
white business
listen.
and some white mess, and I'm gonna continue to stay out of
He
that.
said it's the
Baby,
right
he
man.
was in his emo era, okay? He had
Yeah.
uh
He
this
looked
little
like the
straight
lead from Fall Out
bang.
Boy. Yes, he looked like the lead from Fall Out Boy.
He had on eyeliner, like it
Right.
was
I'm gonna show you the picture.
it
I'm
was
gonna show you the
extra.
picture
Well,
because
I'll say,
it is wild. Like, hold on, and he's saying he want to simplify it for the people that really enjoy Chris Gaines. So he's hoping to bring it back.
again, I don't know who or what that is or what's going on.
It was a mess, that's what it was.
Yes. So uh,
It's Garth Brooks.
that's Garth
Garth
Brooks.
Brooks.
So he
I
did it
mean,
like after 10 years from of being in the industry, and he wanted to um take a different route. And we see that happen a lot. And maybe that's ultimately, it never came out. He never said that that's he, wanted to always be this emo singer. Because Justin Bieber is an artist that um they made him like this pop singer or whatever. He wanted to kind of sing something else. Avril Lavigne wanted to sing country. They made her emo, punk rock. Chris Brown always apparently wanted to rap. Look at Pink. Pink was R&B and went pop full on pop
Well, look
rock.
at Taylor Swift.
I
She
was I was
came
gonna
out.
say that country, but she was on that. I think what she did, because she was on a competition show. And so I think she kind of was like, okay, it ain't that many. I'm gonna stay in this lane and then segue somewhere else. So I'm gonna play this little game.
But even still, I think it was just one of those things where I think maybe even Post Malone started out as country.
No, he started out as rap and now he full on country.
I don't know. Somebody said, and I could be wrong. I'm going off of what somebody said in the room when we was watching last night.
Uh-huh.
Like that he started in country, he really didn't pop. And so that's when he went to rap. And
Oh,
so we knew him as a rapper. And then that's when he went back to country. But I could be, which honestly would make sense as to how, Beyonce was like, come up on this song. Because I feel like it's it felt out of place because by the time the album dropped, Post was just getting into country. So it just seemed like, well, how did you know? You know what I mean? Again, I ain't looked it up. I don't know no facts. I'm just
but let me go back to your original thing. I did find it interesting that the Grammys did continually mention that
the
13 that it was
13,000.
13,000 voters. But like you said, Janelle, like he didn't even mention Jay-Z last year. He brought up The Weeknd, which I guess still someone it was somebody they highlighted to boycott overall. So it was a lot of things they were giving us. I don't know if those things really had an effect on if Beyonce was going to get this album of the year because as we've seen, when they don't give the people their things, they come back later and try to get them the things. And just like at the award, like the Oscars, I want to say they did Angela Bassett the same way. They noticed she deserved to get best
actress.
female
Mm-hmm.
actress, but because they hadn't been giving it to her, they finally decided that following year, after so much controversy, to give her what was it an icon award
Yeah, they
or
love to
an
give you an
honorary.
honorary award.
Yeah,
It's
like
like
or
we've been
was I
shitting on you your whole career. So here's
Yeah,
our sorry. Like,
yeah.
right? And it's
But
like,
I think
so
it's
were you?
interesting. Well, if we speak about the number and the 13,000, like random people, because I was like, I feel like y'all need to be putting these people name on the list so we can go through their LinkedIn and see who you are and where you work and what you're doing. I know one of the professors at Webster was a part of the academy, and he let the class vote for him because he didn't know more than half of those artists. And so a lot of people that probably really do have better projects than some of the lead people that we know, it probably will never really reach that far because they going based off of popularity, like who we know. And I will say that probably because of so much controversy, and I'm not going to say that there were controversy, but the dialogue surrounding the Cowboy Carter album, we're going to call it AKA Beyonce, because that was what that was going to be called. um I think that did push people to listen to it, in its entirety and really understand the message. Because it is, like that first half is definitely a lot of storytelling, which is what country music is about. That's what they do. And then that second half is just, it makes sense how that would have originally phased into Renaissance, because it is kind of more experimental country,
mm-hmm.
because you got all these different sounds going. And then it's more of a turn up era. So I mean, I think it's some people feel like that she wasn't deserving of it, that she has had better bodies of work. And we can agree, we can disagree, because I do believe Lemonade was very, very deserving of it. Because I mean, shit, honestly, a lot of that is rooted in country music, the way that it's laid out, that album alone. um, but it's just interesting to see, the response, because you have people like Casey Musgraves, because they turned the camera to her when she won Best Country Album, and she, was salty, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
girl,
My
she
title
hasn't
say
made a
me.
project.
They
She
say
hasn't made a
wanted me to
project.
listen to Casey Musgraves.
You say who?
I said my title say want me to listen to Casey Musgraves. You know when you done like when I'm done listening to Cowboy Carter, that pop up, and I be like,
No, see,
no.
no, that's funny. But you want to know what be popping up? That fucking Sabrina Carpenter, that espresso shit.
I
And
like
I like that.
espresso.
no, I'm tired. I'm
I
tired.
like
I like it.
espresso.
I
No.
mean, because for my birthday, I'm doing a little, my little a teeny bit older with my espresso martini theme. So I like it. I mean, it's basic as hell. Not gonna lie, but I still enjoy
I just
it.
and I think that I was listening to this song, and all I could hear was the lyrics and how basic and mediocre they were. I'm working late. I'm a singer, girl. Not yeah, who wrote that?
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, I think who was it? It was some video I watched and they were talking about espresso and how basically like the beat or whatever, like the
His
tune
that.
of it, it's like some kind of like not auto generated, but it's like some prefabricated like medley. And somebody just bought that tune. You know how you could go on different sites and just like, oh, let me buy like this tune or whatever, and I'm gonna make a song to it. That's just basically what espresso is. Like I think they kind of like chopped and screwed it, but not that much. They like just kind of maybe slowed it down, maybe added an extra like oomph to it, and they was like, here it is.
No, that
So, but again, it was very formulaic, and it's like
yeah.
one of them songs where it's like it's a hit. Like it's
Yeah,
not
no,
gonna be
with
the best song,
espresso,
but it's gonna
I really
be.
believe that espresso is definitely, Drake want to talk about payola with this whole Kendrick Not Like Us. No, that is what happened with espresso, because no matter what I played, I could be listening to the Clark sisters, and next thing you know, after the album
Well,
goes off, it is on, and I'm like, come on now. Now this is like
espresso
very old in
is
your
the
face,
new Call
payola.
Me Baby. Like espresso is the new Call Me Maybe. It's like or Call Me Baby or whatever. It's like
I don't know what that is.
Call me maybe. So
yeah, it's
call me
like
maybe.
hey, I just met you. And this is
Songs
crazy,
everywhere.
but here's my
Oh
number.
no, yeah, I
So
that
call
was,
me maybe. It's that. Like, it's a stupid song, but it gets a lot of radio play. It's very catchy. It's one of them songs where you like, this is trash, but they like put it in your face so much that you end up loving it. Like the fact that
Yeah.
I know the words. Like, and she toured off of that song. I think she had one more song. I can't remember who she opened for. Because I remember whatever concert it was, I went to the concert and she was the opener. I can't remember who it was.
well, you want to see some Anglo-Saxon.
I don't think so. Ooh.
Garth Brooks.
Hello. Comedic
Backstreet
timing,
Boys.
Vernon. Comedic
I
timing.
for
Backstreet Boys
real.
again.
No, for real. I'm trying to think of who could it have
So,
been.
so
Yeah, because I'm like, girl, you went where and you saw who?
I
with who?
That's
I'm
why
gonna
I
look it
did
up.
it.
I'm
Doing
gonna look it
what?
up. I don't know who she was on
With,
tour with, but she was definitely the opener.
okay. Well, yeah,
Damn, I can't remember.
I loved her performance. By the way,
I thought it was cute.
it was very cute. It was
Yeah, I think
different. It was
I'm not
You
denying.
know, it
I
was
think
short and sweet,
I
you
think
know.
she's a cute girl.
she's a very cute girl.
You know,
Yeah, she looked good on the carpet. I think she had a
yeah.
bop. She had a moment. So
I
it was
think
cute for her.
I think Hollywood is ready for their new Great White Hope. I cannot say that Sabrina Carpenter is that, but I think they are ready because at some point,
Oh
you
no, girl,
know,
it won't be Sabrina, and I'll tell you why.
well, I'm
Sabrina.
not
Oh
okay.
no, Sabrina grown, and so people have been mad at her because she just got off tour, and parents had taken their kids to see her,
Oh
and
yeah,
it was
yeah, yeah, yeah,
very sexual.
yeah.
So
No, and that's what I mean. I'm like, I think they are looking for their new Great White Hope. And like I said, I cannot say that she is going to be it.
I thought
I
it was Taylor
think
Swift.
well, Taylor Swift is the current one. I
Okay, okay.
think I think so. Taylor Swift's reign is she's gonna have to adjust her image and if she wants to have staying power. I think the success with Taylor Swift, and she does this very much intentionally, is that she portrays herself as this facsimile of a teenager. Like she never fully, even though she is linked to all these, like men, like Taylor Swift does not present as the 30 something that she is. Like she's her persona, like it's like the world shocks her. Like everything that she sees, it's like the first time she's seeing it. And I feel like she wants to maintain this level of innocence to her persona so she can still appeal to like younger generations. Because it's still little girl, like it's grown women that go see Taylor Swift, but it's still little girls that go see Taylor Swift. You know what I mean?
So it's interesting that you bring that up, Janelle, because I actually was having that conversation with one of my homeboys that's a Swiftie.
Mhm.
And he was talking about, he said, okay, we decided to go with the George Washington wig. He was talking about her hair last night. And
Mhm.
I was like, look, I was too focused on her looking a little
Not the
risque
George
for
Washington
Taylor
way.
Swift. Then I missed her hair. He was like, and she finally wore some shoes that like went with her outfit. They were not like little kitty shoes. So I was like, that's so funny that you say that because I
Yeah.
think people are picking up on that.
And even her dress still wasn't giving, I am this like sophisticated
Now, no
grown woman.
disrespect for Taylor Swift.
Yeah, no, I'm saying like but my point is it gave like this is what girlies wear to the club in Vegas
Yeah,
when they are 22.
yeah.
It does not
But
give that I am like this woman who has been in this industry for half of my life and I have matured and grown. Like it still felt like she is still like she's slowly trying to find herself. Which she has commented like as far as like her style, like she wants it to feel attainable and approachable. Like she wants it to feel like her fans to feel like they could go to the Gap and buy this dress, and that's how she dresses. She dressed a mess.
I
But
think
You
she,
know, what I was
I don't think she looked bad last night. I think I would want more. It still just feels like a very basic dress.
it's because Taylor is basic. I think
Yeah, no.
the dress look good and the shoes did match and look good, but she doesn't sell it. Even how she tried to go up there and before she presented, she kind of stuck her leg
And she
out
stuck
because
her
she had
leg out.
that
Oh,
shirt.
it just felt
It wasn't
so
given.
forced.
It wasn't given. It wasn't giving Angelina Jolie because Angelina Jolie is a woman. She knows how to be sexy without having to do too much. Taylor is still trying to figure all that out. And I
yeah,
actually disagree. I don't think Taylor needs to do much to present in a different type of way. I think she's always been basic. She can continue to be basic and still win all these things. I don't think there's nothing really much that she needs to change. She's not like a Beyonce or like other artists who need to constantly change things around or just that just to get accepted or go fit into this. She can do her same basic lily white thing that she's been doing, and people are going to be well receiving her regardless.
because there's a lot of people that are mediocre and that thrive in that lane.
Yeah, and they
And
do.
honestly, I've said this before. I enjoy some Taylor Swift songs or whatever. I've never listened to an album cover to cover, but I think the thing with Taylor Swift is we were talking about this on an episode where we were talking about numbers and where music is going, and I think people they just relate to her because it's like, oh, it's me. Because it's not like she's super, super glamorous. I'm not gonna go as far as my homegirl that texted me this morning saying that she was unattractive. I'm not gonna go that far, but we find different things and different people that we like that help us feel, like seeing like how we gravitate to Beyonce. Beyonce, not only have we known her since we was like in the fourth or fifth grade, but we've seen her evolve as an artist and her artistry, and we're like, okay, damn, you very, very, blackity black, and we like you here and what you represent, or whatever. But I don't know, like I kind of see, I kind of agree with Vernon on it, but I also didn't know she was even nominated. I thought that album came out like for the last year, so I didn't even know she was.
Last year, like he said, like even Trevor said, but I mean, also I watched the Grammys. Last year, she was winning Grammys by also still promoting the new album. So everything she
Oh,
got, so she did it. It was all in timing. So
Yeah.
she did. So this year, if Beyonce hadn't got album of the year, Taylor was actually hoped to get album of the year, but she would have been the fifth person to ever have gotten. Or no,
Right.
she would have been the first person to ever have gotten five album
Yeah.
of the year
oh shit. Okay.
awards. So that was a big deal for her.
I think honestly, if it wasn't for Beyonce, how I've never listened to Chaperone, but the Chaperone buzz, I feel like that might have probably went to her. Because everybody, it was a very stiff category, but I'm like, if people have been talking about the
That's why I
Chaperone.
thought it was gonna be Chaperone,
Me too.
honestly.
I was like, I was clenching my butt cheeks. I was like, who? And then I could release. I was like, ah.
Girl.
So I'm
But
just
no,
saying.
I
Yeah.
but no, I think so with the Taylor Swift thing, I think like I said, to me, some of that is just going to yes, the whole her whole being relatable, all of those things, I think that's definitely valid. Um and I mean, it's very lucrative, obviously, but
Mhm.
I think at some point I just feel like she has to she should evolve her persona. And
We
maybe
will
that'll
say not.
happen.
She doesn't have to.
I know, I think
But
she
would
should
it be
though.
nice
Like
to see something different? Yeah.
at some point, like people get tired of this stuff. Like you gotta give your people, like you said with Beyonce, we have grown with you. And I think, Taylor Swift fans probably feel the same way. I don't really listen to Taylor Swift music like that. Like you said, it's a few little bops that I have heard, but I feel like those could have happened at any time in her career. Like the stuff that she has, I feel like you could have came out with that today, and it sound like what you came out with when you first
Years
came.
ago.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so
Right.
yes, Beyonce has a style, but I feel like there was definitely a
Growth.
maturity that happened when self-titled came out.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
more like, okay, we had Speechless, but then you had Rocket. You know what I mean? And it was just like more overt. Where, before it was just a little bit subtle. Like obviously you could say what you want about Speechless. As far as like you can
Your mama was
interpret it.
nasty too.
It was, but you could say that it wasn't if you really wanted to make that argument.
Yeah.
But Rocket is like, let me sit this ass on you.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that means. So
yeah, I mean, is it on the pole? I mean, it could be on the lot, depending on how you reading that.
what?
Yeah, I mean, because she says, "Let me sit this ass on you." It could be intent, like she could be sitting, and then when she tells him how she feels, it might not be
How else do
necessarily.
you interpret? Let me
I was
sit
saying
this
it could be
ass
two
on you.
different things, depending on
Only
what we're talking about.
only one body
That's the
part is
warm
gonna
up.
blast off like a rocket.
No. I know. I was like, that's the warm up. That is the pregame.
Okay, but I specifically, let me sit this ass on you. Who is she talking about other than a man? Like, how else are you interpreting that?
You can. It's the warm up. Like it is. It is foreplay, which is a lost art for some people. It don't
I'm talking
necessarily.
about, I know, Dominique. I'm saying, never mind.
No, Janelle, continue.
I'm saying, if somebody said, let me sit this ass on you, let me sit this ass on you.
Okay.
How else are you interpreting that? What are you talking about? Like, yes, it's still sex. Like, it's I don't know what you're talking about.
First of
No,
all, viewers, I wish y'all could see this type of exchange all the time. As you can see, I learned to take a back seat.
I'm just
anyway,
saying.
moving on. Continue. What's the part?
Well,
Continue.
the point I'm making with Taylor Swift, she intentionally she plays this very innocent role, and that way she can use it to her advantage for certain things. For instance, her being named in this whole Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni lawsuit. White people shit, Vernon.
Well, no, I've heard of the lawsuit, but I didn't know
Okay.
Taylor Swift was inserted in it.
So,
Oh yeah, they friends. They're like
she's
BFFs.
besties with Blake Lively. And so it's somebody I follow. I think it's Blakely Thornton or whatever, that black dude. He makes all of these kind of like recap videos that he give his 2 cents. And he is very much team Blake Lively, even though he like Ryan Reynolds follows him. So it feels very biased. But he makes this comment because I guess she's mentioned in the lawsuit, and he was just saying how much influence Taylor had, and how Blake was, talking about how she's Khaleesi and Taylor is one of her dragons. And so he's like, this girl, Taylor Swift, who like 2 years ago didn't even know what a burrito was. Like, I think people want her to maintain this level of innocence, and she promotes this level of innocence. So when people try to call her out on stuff, she could always play this like, I didn't know, like that type of role, which that's how she walks around all the time. So I just feel like there's something to that. Just like with Kanye West with the famous song, and how she tried to pretend like she didn't know that he was saying, I made that bitch famous. And Kim had the receipts. She was like, no,
You were
we played
there.
the
We had the
whole time. We
conversation.
played you the whole thing. We recorded it. Like, and then she just shut up about it. So I say
Yeah.
all that to say, I feel like Hollywood is looking for their new Great White Hope, their new blonde hair, blue eye, like savior. And they got to get somebody. And like I said, maybe Sabrina is not it. I think she's cute or whatever. But like you said, she's not going over well with the kids, with the parents. So somebody else, I'm sure that they will slide in her place that's young and innocent and will have a good 10-15 year run career where they can make her the new, because at some point Taylor Swift gonna get married, and I would think just based off of her music in general, very much influenced by her relationships, she gonna start talking about married life with my husband, I would think.
Well,
Because I
we
mean Beyonce
can't.
did it.
I'm gonna say we can't assume that things just go all the way left or totally change just because someone gets married. But
True. But
yeah,
she does talk a lot about her relationships. So I just
yeah.
figured she would slide that in there.
Well, speaking
But
of,
anyway, back to Beyonce.
I was like,
Ooh,
exactly. This
thank
is
you.
why we're here. I'm like, speaking of blue, when you said black, bright eyed or whatever the hell about them white people. Um, Blue Ivy, just like mom, like always coming in the clutch. Like, girl, if you don't get your ass up on stage, like she saves the day again, just like she saved the day on the Renaissance tour with Diva. Blue is just such a beautiful girl, blossoming into this mature, beautiful young lady. Keeping Beyonce all in check and under control because that's her job. But I was really really happy to see. And the funny thing is like we focus on Beyonce winning Best Country Album. Zoom into that picture and look at Jay-Z because he is so shocked, like
Hmm.
mouth on the floor. It's hilarious. It's cute though,
It was a
but
nice moment. Yeah, it was
yeah.
such a beautiful moment. But yeah, Blue definitely sat there and was looking like, I mean, the award is for you, not for me. So why are you not going up there? Like,
Right, she said, get up.
right. She said, get up. Like,
And it looked like
but
that. So I want to say something like when y'all keep saying like, "Oh, she had just got there." I was like, "Girl, she had barely even. She wasn't even in that seat because it
That's
was
what I
like,
said. It
no,
was
that's
like
what I
she
was
was
like. It was
getting
like, all
herself
right, I'm here,
together.
and then like, oh shit, I gotta get back up. This is, I mean, she looked
right. So
Um,
yeah,
unfor-
it was so
yeah.
cute. I just love how yeah, like they were all genuinely excited for her getting album of the year. I think they thought they were going to get snubbed again. So to see all of them and the people surrounding them, I've watched different videos at different angles that people have posted. So just to see the people around them all just rally for her and be surprised that it was just a great moment.
And Trevor Noah did acknowledge Jay-Z's comment after she won. It's like,
Oh
yeah, Jay-Z
yeah,
heard you.
Yeah.
We heard
But
you.
that's what
right.
I'm saying. It's like,
Which
and I
that
agree,
goes
like,
back to the 13,000. I don't know what was influenced by, like Jay-Z speaking on it last year. These
I
new
think I think
13,000
I
people.
think it was time, and I think a lot of these conversations are on the heels of a lot of civil unrest when it comes to, like Black Lives Matter, all of those different things. And I think that is just like a culmination of what had been happening ever since George Floyd, and how that has resonated through so many sects of society, as far as, Hollywood, DEI in general. A lot of that stuff, even though I think they were conversations before, it kind of like escalated with that. And so I think that's just what that was. And I think those types of effort take time. So it just seems like maybe it's out of the blue. And, but what Jay-Z was saying, when he said, last year, it was kind of like, okay, well, nigga, we working on it. Like, and so it's like, and I think too, to Dominique's point, I think saying that sheer volume of numbers, because 13,000 is a lot of people.
There's a lot of people.
And I'm sure there are still a lot of those people who were on those committees or on that committee who were on the previous one, who were still doing the same shit. Like, well, I ain't listen to all of this, so y'all pick. Or who is like, well, I just don't want this person to win because I don't like them, so I'm not gonna vote for them. And I think just having that number helps drown out those voices,
Yeah.
because it's going to be an average.
Yeah.
And I think, for the most part, when like people, those are anomalies to me. But I think because it was probably such a smaller group, those anomaly of people had a bigger impact. Whereas most people take their job, I would hope, a little bit more seriously
Yeah,
than that.
there's a lot of people
At the
don't.
very least, if you ain't never listened to it, you before you vote, you take the time to listen to their album. You
Yeah,
take the time to
You
listen
would
to the
think.
song.
and I wonder how they even narrow down the submissions of what they're gonna allow in to the a category versus what is like denied. And denied is such a hard word, but like that they like eliminate. And so because I could just imagine the amount of submissions that they get for each category.
I bet
There's some
that group
people
is a
that
smaller group of
campaign.
people.
Yeah, I'm like, there's so many people that campaign, that can financially do that for your Grammy consideration. We see it for, the Oscars and all
Hmm.
that stuff as well. But I'd be interested to see what that process looks like to give a little more insight. And then, because I can't imagine that they're sending, let's say it's 200 submissions for each. I don't imagine them sending that to, a certain amount of people and
Yeah.
then ushering that, out or whatever. And not sending, a lot of it is just a link.
Yeah.
But
It's still sent though.
yeah. So I'm just
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's a much smaller committee that susses through that because again, it's so many awards that get given out that just don't get televised.
right.
Um, and so it's what like I don't even know how many categories. It got to be at least 50 categories.
Oh, it's
Um,
it's, it's more than that.
yeah, like 4 Grammys. So I feel like there are, and it's probably several different committees. It's probably like, okay,
There were.
here's the
Oh, I
record
got it.
committee.
Here we go. Entry recording. Academy members and registered media companies submit music and videos for consideration. Screening. Entries are reviewed by experts to ensure they meet eligibility requirements and are placed in the correct category. Voting. Voting members of the Recording Academy vote on the entries in 2 rounds. The first round of voting determines the nominee for each category, and then it's the winners. The second round of voting determines the winners for each category. So
Mm,
yeah,
Yeah.
that
but
makes
I mean,
sense.
but it seemed like honestly, anybody can submit.
I mean, I'm sure you can, but that's the thing. I think it's a financial requirement,
Yeah, there is a fee.
and there's other rules and like terms and conditions in order to even qualify you. So you can submit and you can waste your money if you want
You're
to.
right. Yeah,
But and I'm sure, like I said, I'm sure even that first round are smaller pools of people that it gets sent to. Like
yeah,
whoever these like experts are, or these committee of people, I'm sure it's like a smaller breakdown of who is reviewing those. And then that final round gets sent to everybody.
yeah.
Because if that was the case, I could see how somebody is like, I'm not doing that. It's too much. Now,
Mhm.
you shouldn't be on the committee if you're not dedicated to doing it, but that would be a lot to take in if you're going through like you said, if it's 200 people submitting or 100 people submitting per category and you have 75 categories, that's a lot to like review with a critical ear and then have to make a decision.
Yeah.
Because then, like, are you listening to it multiple times? Or you just see if it snapped that first listen, or you just listen, like you listening to 30 seconds of each song? Like, that's a lot to take in. If
I
that's,
knew I knew a
94
guy.
categories.
How
huh?
many?
94.
94. I knew a guy who was on a committee and he was supposed to vote for he voted for like the TV shows
Yeah,
and
so he's running
things.
for the Golden Globe Academy.
Right, but he wouldn't always like they would send him in the DVDs of whatever was being nominated and he would of course have to watch them, but he never had the time to like watch all of everything. So I think sometimes I think he would just kind of just vote for whatever or he wouldn't vote at the time because he was just like, oh, I haven't seen any of that stuff. Like he would just collect and he just had like a box of all
Yeah.
these shows that were for your consideration.
Yeah.
And it's just like, wow, and it's just like crazy. It's like, why even be a part of this if you're not passionate about it, about who's winning? Like, this is a big deal. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
no, it is. And that's why I think it has to be, smaller rounds of people. But it's like I said, it's a lot. So, but again,
yeah,
you're gonna have some people who are gonna do it right and some people who are not gonna do it all. So you
yeah.
need that 13,000. But I
Well,
will say I do like how the Grammys was formatted this year. Like I like how they had the consecutive performances. Um, because I feel like the Grammys always just seem like, oh, okay. Even though it still felt long, but I still feel like I was
I feel that every year it
entertained.
is long. I don't know.
Huh?
I think the Grammys been. I think every year is long. It starts
No,
in
it
7.
is, but I think
Yeah,
usually they kind of spread out the performances.
They do. And I
yeah.
thought,
And
and I
maybe because
thought,
he was doing that, that Lou Rawls fundraiser, I was like, this is giving like a telethon.
no, no, because honestly, when I saw that it was 8 o'clock, and that's why I called you, I was like, well, what are y'all on out there? And I when he said record of the year, typically that's kind of closer to the end of the show. So I was like, oh shoot, they kind of running through it. And then I was like, oh shit, it's still another hour. Because it was like several more before. I was like, okay. So
I don't know.
I don't know.
I think the Grammys have been doing. I've been enjoying the Grammy. Well, first of all, I watch the awards every year, period,
Yeah,
especially the Grammys. But I feel like ever since the pandemic, like I'm still like I think it was either last year or the year before. I think no, it was during the pandemic time. They had great performances, like even songs I had never heard of and different genres. It's like everybody was just on point. Like
yeah.
everybody came with it. Um, I feel like this year with Sabrina Carpenter, that was like the Dua Lipa performance for me, like a sexy young girl with a big hit song putting on the thing. I feel like they usually cover all the bases for the most part. Obviously, this year was different because they were recognizing the LA firefighters. So I like that they had a bit of seriousness, and I love the
Mhm.
theme to I Love LA. I don't know. I think the Grammys usually do it right for the most part. I think it was just those votes
And
that we were having an issue
yeah,
with. That I'm glad
and
that they addressed.
I do like because I feel like everybody's performance has some type of nod to like a
LA.
old Hollywood like aesthetic or theme. Like Sabrina Carpenter was giving us Marilyn Monroe, like some like a high, I think that's the movie.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, is something like a high?
It is.
Okay. Um even Dolce's performance when she like was in them draws. But like the way that she was like backlit with that screen, I feel like that's a scene that you've seen before. Even Chapel Roans was given like that old kind of like um it's not a west, it's kind of like a old kind of like old like circus, like all of them has some type of theatric.
Vintage feel, like a vintage
Yes,
feel.
like some type of like
Yeah.
theatric. Even old boy who did the somersault off the piano, like, and even like his jumpsuit.
I missed
What's
that.
his name? It's like it's start with a B.
Yeah. I
I loved his performance. Like I felt like it was like when he did that backflip, I was like, you won it for me. Old girl Ray, hers was given like that old like big band like Frank Sinatra, like the way that the stage,
Hmm.
all of it to me. And then of course, you had like the tribute to Quincy Jones. So, and then them doing all those older songs. I feel like it was definitely a theme throughout that I really enjoyed. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's for sure. But circling back to Beyonce, congratulations to you. And I guess we lucky that we getting some sort of a. I'm not gonna say it's a tour. You doing some pop ups. You popping out in some cities.
and yeah,
Uh,
it's a chilling circuit, and that's fine.
yeah,
And honestly, that makes, if she was gonna do something as far as a tour, that makes sense. Like I said, her doing a world tour just seemed so far fetched to me. off of the heels of Renaissance and
Yeah.
like seeing what all went into that, I was just like, that's a lot. And I'm sure even this was still a lot. Um, so yeah, I just feel like again, I could have did Act 3. I could have did a visual. I'm
I
still waiting
really
on
want to ask.
Renaissance to be on somebody streaming. So I can work out to it because that's what I watch when I'm on the treadmill. I watch Homecoming. I would love to watch Renaissance. Sometimes I'll watch Beyonce Bowl, but I would like for something put out the Formation DVD. I would be fine with that. But I
I
just
ever
feel
do that. Wait,
I just think it's funny. But yeah, I'm gonna try to do the Chitlin circuit. We gonna see.
Listen, I just thought that it was funny that everybody was, we were all sitting on edge waiting for this announcement to drop. Then it had to be delayed because of the LA fires. And it's just like everybody was begging, like Beyonce, we could really use a moment right now. We can really use that announcement right now. Y'all get the announcement. And people still complaining. They still
man, and it
complaining.
was $30 fucking.
They
I
still
feel like
I went to Aldi and I was like, all right, I'm gonna get the big pack. Then not at that price.
And I think
girl.
again, I think it's one of those things that you cannot predict because obviously we know way ahead of time. Because we were even having this conversation yesterday about, like the concert. This was before she dropped that it was just like, before she actually drops the cities. And we were talking to our friend's father who runs like security at one of the venues here in St. Louis. And so he was saying how they get the line up like way in advance, like a year or more in advance. So just because she told us like all this stuff got to be, the logistics of all of it is already worked out by the time we are hearing it. So he was like, she ain't coming here. I don't know where she's going, but she's not coming here. She's not coming to this venue. And so, like I said, it just requires so much. And I think, of course, at the time of her probably planning this, the world wasn't as in disarray as it is right now. Not that it wasn't, but now that we have a new person that is in charge of this country, I don't want to say leading it because you ain't, but I think it feels very like bitch read the room. Like
I
everything feels so uneasy.
You got planes falling out the sky.
Baby.
I
Baby, I got
mean,
2 planes I gotta catch next week. And I'm kind of nervous. Like
I'm nervous for you.
kind of nervous.
that's fair. You all's feelings are valid. I don't know what that has to do with Beyonce and how she goes about doing things. She's always done this. She's always put stuff
No,
out
I
around tax
know.
time. She's always made announcements. She's always dropped things.
No, I
We're
know.
not saying we're upset. We're
No,
only
no.
upset because pocketbook.
It's just not the. It's just the timing. It's just like it's just not the most opportune time.
Oh, okay. So it's the same as it is every time. People was complaining about their money then when Renaissance came out, and the people who had it still got their life. She continued on with it, whether you had it or not.
I
Yes,
know.
would we love for her to come when we want her? No, yes, but that's not how Jesus works.
I'm about to
You
say
know
that. I'm like, okay, listen.
I just,
that
I just feel like again, it bodes well to the fact that it's a very limited amount of shows, so everybody can't go. So
I
you might
was
not be tempted.
I was actually more surprised when she put the announcement on hold. Like I felt like that was nice, but it's like usually when she has a date, all her timing and things make sense.
Well,
I was
no,
more surprised about
it
it.
may honestly,
She
it
should have
may,
put it on hold.
yeah,
I mean,
it
yeah,
would
Honestly,
that's
this should have
fair.
that
always
would have
been.
been
That's
that
just
would
an
have
announcement. That can
yeah, no,
always
no.
be.
I think why it just and you asking people for money, like it,
Honestly, this
yeah,
should have
and
always
people
been the
houses burned
announcement.
down. And I could also say Beyonce is people. It's people that need housing and you want to go on tour.
Well, and then people just they can't go, which and they're not
But
even
she's
tempted
not
to
the
go.
only one going on the tour. She's not the only one who's still about to get their own coins just because this tragedy happened in this area.
No,
Like
I
she just
know. I
I
know.
do
yeah.
wish it would have been dope though if this should have been the original drop date as far as like letting us know, because it would be closer. And like when she told, when Cowboy Carter dropped, that was
This time
uh
last year.
the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So, which is next week. So it's like you right, it's given like I'm gonna make Black History during Black History Month. And so it should have always just been a February announcement in the first place. But and that's why these dates feel so like on top of our necks, because it's like shit, we were supposed to find out 3 weeks ago. And so we would have had a little bit more time. But y'all knew.
Now I am surprised about the dates though. I did think that we was gonna get a little bit more time with the dates. I'm thinking that her shows are gonna be like later in the year. Cause I
Yeah.
feel like Cowboy Carter is more giving. I feel like it's kind of giving more fall,
Yeah.
winter. Whereas Renaissance made sense to be like in the summer,
Yeah. The
like
summer,
you know,
exactly. People is not
yeah.
about to be walking around hot in these chaps and these fringes, and
Who not?
it's gonna be warm.
Who not finna be still hot as mug?
I'm just saying, it would have been nicer if it was the fall.
That is
Yeah.
true. Yeah, so I'm
I am.
actually surprised by that.
I'm looking forward to like what I'm gonna wear with my little cowboy boots. Beyonce. Now I'm like, it ain't nobody' birthday. Don't ask us to wear nothing in particular. Don't.
Please don't
I,
pull that again this year. Like it was cute, but it's like that could have been sooner. And it's like, let us know now.
Yeah.
I think we know the thing. We know the assignment. I don't think it's necessarily color coordinated, but y'all know the assignment. Like, I think Tina posted something where it was like sales of like cowboy attire, like Western wear
Yeah. It had
went
went up.
up
Yeah,
however many percent.
since
And
last
it
year.
yeah, but even like when they made that announcement and it was like, oh, okay, let me get on Vince Camuto. Let me get these cowboy boots. They was on sale. I got two pair, two different styles. We gonna see which one is giving. But I low key kind of like both of them. They had one that had like a fringe on the side, which I thought about, but I wanted something that I felt like I would wear again. I'm not about to wear no
Yeah.
fringe.
You're not gonna
Yeah.
wear fringe again?
I'm not a fringe girl. I feel like
I
I don't see you
mean,
wearing that.
I mean, I have a fringe belt, but I have a fringe purse. I don't have a lot of fringe. Actually, I had a skirt that I gave you that had fringe on it.
Right, and it was gold, right?
Yeah, I got it.
Damn. Okay, I
uh,
couldn't remember.
I
I mean,
still
my mind.
have
I
it.
was like, did I give
I
I
it
still
back
got
to
have
it.
you?
it. Let me see if I still have it. I might have put it in the donate bag
It's
because you didn't give it
somewhere.
back to me. Because
I
I gave
couldn't
it to
remember if
you
I gave
because
it back to you or not.
yeah, because it was too big for me. So you gave it. You ended up not wearing it. So you, when we was
Gotcha.
gonna do our like consignment shop, you gave it to me.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'll
But
take
now
Well,
it.
that would have been cute with my cream boots, and I could have did like an off white theme, and then threw
I'll
that
go
gold
through the
in there.
bags. I still have the bags.
So
well,
Yeah.
I bought a couple of things. Like I bought some cowboy boots last year. Well, not last year. I guess the year before for Renaissance and some chaps. I don't just be wearing those things. But there have been other events and things where they've come in handy. Where it's like, oh shoot, I could have wore those. I could wear those boots. Or
yeah,
it was another Beyonce event that I went to. I had wore the chaps. So I'm not really trying to go too crazy. I do obviously want to get something cowboy inspired, but like Dom, we talked about it earlier. She was like, "You can wear those chaps again," and it's like, I feel like I'm repeating, but also it's like, well, how often do you get to wear these chaps that you paid for? So,
yeah,
I guess that's one less thing. So,
yeah. And I know they have like that black rodeo that comes. We wanted to go last
yep,
year, but
I
I feel
went
like it's like
last
a
year, and
scheduling conflict.
that was the first time I had been to it. So,
Mhm.
I actually ended up wearing. Actually, I ended up getting a new cowboy hat for that event, not the one that I wore for Renaissance. and wearing the boots that I got originally for Renaissance. So yeah, certain things like that. It just kind of worked out. So
I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna do with my hair. Maybe I'll get some braids because I'll. That's the thing. The Chicago ones, I'm gonna be in Cancun the week before. So if I have braids, I could do a hat. If I don't have braids,
ooh, what if you do some lemonade braids? Now that would be fire.
they would
Janelle,
be long. I don't like that though.
yeah, I was like,
Okay,
Janelle ain't gonna do that.
okay, okay.
I'm like, you asking for
I'm
too
like, you can
much.
also put them up in a bun, you know.
I just don't like the braided down part.
Yeah, she don't like that.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
I'm gonna have to see.
I'm like, you know me so well, Dominique.
I know. I've been working at it.
But
Yeah.
no, I do want some, some braids though. But now the question is, do I want to get some blonde in it?
Yes.
Because I did do that one time and I did like it. So I might do that again.
Okay, okay. Well, yes, I have signed up for my pre-sale date, Chicago. Maybe almost LA. Now I sent you the one shop. Is it shop AIF? The one lady, the
Yeah.
check the boy lady. And she's
Rashonda.
like, yeah, she's like, y'all need to stay in y'all own zones.
Well, you don't listen to
'Cause,
her. Now I'm about to be going to this LA show by myself. If you play that game, I'm
girl, don't say that because we don't know which tickets is gonna be available. Like we don't know yet. Let's not preset ourselves for disappointment. But it could just be like the last time I ended up getting the tickets for LA over St. Louis, which I wanted to do anyway. So we'll
okay.
see. We're gonna get there. If we don't
Okay.
get to see her together, just know we're gonna be in the building.
Okay.
And we'll be of the few who even well, I'm not complaining about the price or the tickets. I want to go regardless, but for the people who was complaining, that's fine. They don't have to go this time. They can sit this one out.
Yeah.
So
No, understandable. Well, I thank you
yeah.
guys so much for spending your lovely evening with me.
Yeah.
Um, we'll have some sort of update. We have to come back once we all go to the concert and share our experience, just talk about how iconic the moment is.
I
So,
think we should do an episode, and not today, but I think we should do an episode of how we can envision her incorporating Cowboy Carter into her other the rest of her catalog.
okay. That'll be
Because I've
fun.
been thinking about it.
That'll be
I've
fun.
been thinking about
Maybe
it.
as it comes up, like right before the show comes up, what we
Yeah,
think, like
yeah. I
Fine.
think closer to the dates. Yeah.
that'll be
Okay.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that idea. Look at you. Look at
No,
you.
because I was thinking about it today. I'm like, and
Well, I
yesterday.
told Vernon today, I was like, she ain't got to do them opening slow songs because she did them and we ain't that far removed. That was only a year ago.
But just real quick, just a taste. But I was just thinking, like, I was listening to my Rose, and I was like, I can hear this sliding into a Dangerously in Love, even a Flaws and All. Um, and she don't have to do it like she did it before, but I think that kind of like fits together.
Okay.
So, just thinking about shit like that.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
that'll be fun to do. That'll be fun. So thank you guys so much for coming back. It's always a pleasure to have you guys here, and we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Okay, and